Picture It Los Angeles 2025.
Oh my God. Crazy as the years go on, yet we keep getting younger and younger.
The first
Welcome to
Picture It
Out.
2025. Okay, go ahead.
Picture it. Picture it. Welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever going to need to listen to. I am HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
I'm Kerri Doherty. Happy New Year, everyone.
Today. I don't know the song.
Yep, no, that was a combination of a couple songs. Today we are doing another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch our favorite episodes of The Golden Girls and offer new insight since we first started breaking down these episodes way back in 2014 when we were only, 17 years old?
Yeah.
And since it is New Year's, we wanted to revisit a Golden Girls episode that to us really feels like a New Year's party. And for us, that was the dance marathon competition moment that features my favorite stunt double moment, I think, of any movie or television show ever.
Ever. I mean, ever. Quite literally.
Ever.
Also, it just features, I mean, we'll talk about it, but so many things that I just love about the New Year's and how I participate in the New Year experience. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about with this one.
A lot to talk about. We just rewatched season 3, episode 2, One for the Money, which is a fabulous vignette episode. And yes, when it comes to New Year's, we do know that Dateline Miami has an actual New Year's Eve scene, but we actually just watched that one with our GG VIPs during a live watch along party. So we're going to save that one for next New Year's. But
and this one is just so New Year's-y to me. I don't know why, but I have reasoning why it is. So we'll get into that.
Yes. But first, a little bit of housekeeping over in the GG VIP Club on Patreon this week. For the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour, we are breaking down our favorite and most memorable kisses on the Golden Girls.
Oh, I loved this. I will full credit to Kerri. This was fully your idea, but this was a fun one. And the one kiss that I chose kind of made me emotional.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll have to join the VIP Club to know that. To know what
one
that's
of the
about.
ones that I chose also made me emotional.
See,
wow.
the one that you chose that made you emotional, I'm going to make fun of because it's a little cheesy to me. But we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
So you can, you can check out the GG VIP Club over at patreon.com/Golden Girls podcast. We just had another really great live watch along party where Jeffrey Carter, friend of the podcast, who's been a guest on the podcast, had at the end of our live watch along had an amazing story. After speaking with Estelle's assistant, it was a story about Estelle and B attending Herb Edelman's funeral, and it was an incredible story. And we're so thankful that Jeffrey shared it on the podcast because anytime we hear anything new, give Jeffrey
Kardashian.
He's Jeffrey Kardashian on the socials. But Jeffrey is a huge Golden Girls fan and collector, and we know is listening. Hi, Jeffrey. We love you.
Hi, we love you.
But yeah, so if you're in the GG VIP Club, $8 a month, and you haven't yet, if you weren't there for the live watch along, you should check it out. It's on the Patreon page because Jeffrey's story at the end of the episode was like fantastic.
So much fun. Oh my God. How was your holiday, Kerri?
I know we didn't recap during the live watch along because
we're saving it. We're saving it for the pod.
We jumped right into it. My holiday was so interesting. So I think I told you Stan got it in his head. He was like, let's do a Feast of the Seven Fishes, for Christmas Eve. And, it's like an old Italian tradition. You have meals that have 7 fish in it.
Why are Italians so hot? Ugh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say extra because I was like 7 fucking fish meals. Like they love to eat. The hubris of the appetite. So I was like, sure, Stan, we'll do that. So it's me, Stan, his brother. That's it. The 3 of us. Now, as a newbie to trying to cook like a 7 fish meal, I didn't consider like portions. I just like found recipes. And the 7 we decided on, we kept a couple of them real simple, but it was like shrimp cocktail. Super easy. I'm just going to buy shrimp, put it on the thing with cocktail sauce. Fine.
Yeah.
Shrimp cocktail, a smoked trout dip, popcorn shrimp.
Oh, I
Also
love
easy.
a popcorn shrimp.
I love
Ooh.
popcorn shrimp.
Coconut shrimp, the little at Outback. Oh, with that chutney sauce. Oh.
Yep. So that's 3. Lobster macaroni and cheese.
Mm.
Maple bourbon wrapped scallops.
Oh,
Made in like a cast iron
delicious.
pan.
Delicious.
Haddock with asparagus and rice. And what was the 7th? I don't even know. Anyway, I didn't start cooking until like 3:00. I was like, fuck, this can be so easy. Fish cooks so fast. So fast. I had looked at these recipes for the first time. I was like, oh shit, this is like a lot of like prep work to do. And I got through the first 4 and we had to call it a night. We were stuffed.
Wow.
We were so full. We ate so much smoked trout dip and shrimp cocktail and bacon wrapped scallops that I was like, I made the lobster mac and cheese. It was a huge, huge tray of lobster macaroni and cheese. Preposterous amount of food. And Stan was like, wait a minute, we're supposed to have 3 more fish meals. And I was like, uh-huh. And he's like, I can't eat anymore. And I was like, I can't either.
Y'all are tiny.
I think the rule for next year, if we do the 7 fish feast, that we have to think about it in terms of like, it has to be in a amuse-bouche. Everything has to be small. It's going to be like tapas.
Tapas, yeah.
Tapas. It was only 3 of us. And here I am making giant trays of the creamiest, thickest lobster macaroni and cheese. We spent way too much money at a fish market in Santa Monica, but I saw Mark Hamilton from NCIS and he was carrying like 8 cases of fish. And I was like, well, he's doing
So
clearly
handsome.
a 7
Mark Hamilton,
fish
so
feast.
handsome. So handsome.
Yeah, he was fine.
Wow. Okay, Kerri. Hot take.
I mean, you know, if he were on the Golden Girls, like, yeah, they may date him, but he was just like a little old man.
No. He's a little man that could hug me.
So I never knew you had a thing for Mark Hamilton.
Who doesn't have a thing for Mark Hamilton? Who doesn't have a thing for Mark Hamilton? Oh my God, Mark Hamilton. Wait, Mark Hamilton. I need to know these things. Mark Hamilton, NCIS. You said right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yes, exact. Wait, Mark Harmon. Wait, Mark Hamilton. Who's Mark Hamilton?
Oh, I don't know. Isn't his name Mark Hamilton?
No,
Is it Mark Harmon?
Harmon. It's Mark Harmon.
Who are you thinking of? Are you thinking of Mark Hamill?
I was thinking of Mark Harmon.
Yes, I am sorry. Mark Harmon. Yeah.
I was thinking of Mark Harmon, but I was going along with Mark Hamilton, assuming that I was probably wrong. But wow, no, I'm not. Mark Harmon is the man I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And yes, Mark Harmon is fantastic. I mean,
I'm not saying he's not fantastic. He's fantastic.
Freaky Friday. And then did you ever see Summer School? My God, Summer School is just basically a boner. It's just like,
I do like Summer School.
Mark Harmon is just hot.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say was hot. I'm so
sorry.
Mark
Harmon is hot.
He is 73 years old.
Doesn't matter. Age is a number. I'm 28.
Listen to this. So we were watching Mary Poppins earlier. Yes, the original. And I said Dick Van Dyke was hot. Do I think Dick Van Dyke is still hot today?
He's still hot. I would Anna Nicole Smith the fuck out of Dick Van Dyke. I would I would dress any way he wanted me to and sit next to him in that wheelchair. That is how hot Dick Van Dyke actually is.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound.
Just because someone gets a little older does not mean that they can no longer possess the essence of hotness in which they had throughout their life. Dick Van Dyke, always hot. Mark Harmon, always fucking hot.
What about Mark Hamilton?
I don't know who Mark Hamilton is. No, I don't know. I don't know.
When I came out into the car, it's so funny that I got his name wrong again because when so Stan was waiting with little Oreo outside because the place was packed. And I came outside and we're walking to the car and I was like, I just saw Mark Hamill. And he was like, what? And I was like, hang on. No. It wasn't Mark Hamill.
So you all were getting the name wrong. Wow.
Yes.
And I was too, apparently. Wow. We're all sorry, Mark Harmon. Mark Harmon's that hot that we can't remember his name.
Is he related to Angie Harmon?
Nah, probably not.
Okay.
Wow. Well, that's quite a holiday you had.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, and then I want to hear about your holiday, but of course, like little Oreo, she was so funny. She had this thing, I don't know where it started, but every present that she opened, as she was opening it, she'd look up and go, is it shoes? Not like, is it shoes? Like she wanted shoes, but like genuinely curious. Every present she opened, it became like a running joke. And like we would laugh and she wasn't laughing, but every gift she'd start to open, she'd go, is this shoes?
Oh
Is
my
it
God,
shoes?
I love that. I love
Just like,
that. That's
did
so
you want shoes,
cute.
honey? Like she didn't want shoes. She was just
That's
asking, is it
so
shoes?
cute. That's so funny.
But she had a great time and she's so adorable opening presents and oh, she cracks me up. She's such a funny kid. I should have her on the
So
podcast.
sweet. You should,
Yeah.
but blur the face because there are weirdos out there.
Yeah. Well, not
Yeah.
in our community though.
Not in our
But
community now, but protect the
how was
children.
your
Protect the
holiday?
children.
Protect the children.
I whenever someone like comments on a drag thing of mine, they're like, "Stop coming for our kids." I'm always just like, "I don't give a fuck about your kids."
Yeah. Oh, you're like, I hate
Yeah,
kids.
I do. I do. I don't, but I do. You know what I mean? I know, and I've said this about my own nieces and nephews, that I come into play when they reach teen years. I become the cool, accessible, fun uncle that they can come to whenever they want to come out of the closet or talk makeup or like tell me a secret about something they did that they don't want to tell their parents. Like I'm good in that area. That's where
Yeah.
I become a kid person. My holiday was fine. There's a lot of I know it was not eventful. There's a lot of health problems happening with in my family right now. My brother's in the hospital and he has been for the past 2 weeks now, and he'll be in the hospital until early next week as well. A
I'm
lot
so
of other
sorry.
complications related to him having cerebral palsy. So there's been a lot of focus on that. And I mean, I haven't gone back because my family's dealing with so much. They don't need another person in the mix. So we've been dealing with that. But Michael and I went up to the Bay Area to spend time with his family. And that was lovely and very relaxing and chill.
Did you get to watch all the TV you wanted to watch?
What I love about going up to visit Michael's family for the week is that I basically get a vacation from talking. I get a vacation from activity. I get a vacation from anyone needing anything from me ever in any responsibility whatsoever. And I like that. That was nice for me. So I just kind of sit there quietly and respond to things that are spoken to me and then move on to the next thing and let other people talk. And it's lovely. But yeah, so no, that was but in between all of that, I was also dealing with my family stuff too. So yeah, that was my holiday. Kind of stressful, but still lovely. Wait, so I do want to know though, because I while I enjoy the holiday season and I enjoy Hanukkah and Christmas and all of that, like I enjoy the festivities of all of that, I don't particularly enjoy New Year's. New Year's is one of the most stressful holidays for me because of the obligations that it can inspire, meaning like going to parties or activities or being with people, or if you're single, getting that midnight kiss or doing the things or whatever it is. So like, how do you participate in the holiday of the New Year?
I don't.
You don't at all?
No. Like I can't remember the last time Stan and I stayed up until midnight. I want probably like our first New Year's as a couple, we stayed up till midnight. We didn't even go anywhere. I haven't gone anywhere for New Year's in over 10 years, like since I lived in New York. Wow. I don't really do anything.
Sometimes I'm performing on New Year's. I'm sometimes working on New Year's, which I like because it's always fun to celebrate a holiday and make money while you're doing it. But I'm with you in that in years past, I have certainly done things on done things on New Year's, but I'm always disappointed that I do. I'm always upset that I am not at home on my couch. I am up at midnight. I'm always up at midnight, but I am frustrated that whenever I am out, that I'm not at home watching television and eating something tasty at midnight, which is why us doing this episode makes me so happy, because all of this episode is about them hanging out, eating pizza, reminiscing, being nostalgic, and then talking about a dance-a-thon, talking about that time that they actually did go out and then regretted it afterwards. Like that to me is New Year's.
Yeah, that's a great reason to choose this episode. Now I know really why you were drawn to it, because you're right. It is the women sitting at home eating flat, crispy fried chicken.
Yeah. And pizza.
Well, yeah, no, they only ate pizza, but yeah, it's them sitting around just reminiscing, eating, hanging out, which it also, like, that to me, that is the perfect New Year's Eve.
And it's the perfect anything. Yeah. It, like, honestly, half the time I don't ever want to go to a party. I don't ever want to go to a thing unless I'm, like I said, unless I'm getting paid. I don't ever want to go to any of those things. If you can just give me a table or a couch with ample access to beverages and ideally some snacks, although the snacks are even like I can go without the snacks if you just give me a drink and I'm good to go.
Right.
And a place to sit for at least a 2-hour period, I'm good. I
Yeah.
need nothing else.
Yeah.
Put me in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody puts baby in the corner, but
Put
you
this
will
baby
willingly
in
go
the
in the corner. You're a
I will
baby who will
sit
go
in the
corner.
corner
Yeah.
with my little drink. I'll have both hands on my drink and I'll be like, go on, tell me a story. That's it. That's it.
Well, we have a lot to talk about with this episode.
Yeah, let's
I
get to
certainly do.
it.
I took copious amounts of notes. I would love to dive right into
I'm
it.
sure everyone is shocked that you took copious amounts of notes.
I always
Let's take
do.
a break and we'll come right back.
I love a good Sophia money-making scheme.
Me too.
Like her pranks, don't like her pranks. They can be mean-spirited, but bacon, lettuce, potato sandwiches. Remember when there was an episode she was like buying a bunch of shit in bulk and then just reselling it, like toothbrushes and stuff? Like
Yeah.
she
Kind of
she
genius.
is it's kind of genius. She's like my mother-in-law. Like she like knows how to do a good side hustle.
There's an episode of Roseanne where DJ, the son, has some sort of racketeering scheme with the Hostess cupcakes or something he's selling at school. And like he's basically like creating this little Sophia-esque market for people buying his cupcakes, and then he's upping the price if they buy at a certain time, like all kinds of crazy shit, and he's actually making money. And he explains to Roseanne and Dan how it works, and then they're both just kind of like, okay, keep doing it, you're a genius, okay, go do it, which is like kind of, I mean, the girls aren't doing,
sell them.
the girls aren't doing that to Sophia. They're definitely ridiculing her for her desire to sell this water, but I appreciate the hustle of Sophia.
We're rich. We're rich. It comes from the hose out back. I want that as my ringtone. I got in trouble once for trying to do a little side hustle. My sister and my next door neighbor and I, we decided we wanted to make a little cash because we were like, I don't know, 10, 9. And so my mom had all these old purses that she didn't use anymore. They were just like in her closet. And my neighbor's mom also just had some old purses lying around. So we took them door to door and we were knocking on doors and trying to sell them to people. And we were, I don't know, like 4 or 5 houses down the street. And all of a sudden my mom drives up in the car and she's like, get in, please. And she's like, what are you doing? And we're like, we're selling these to try to make money. She's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Give me my purses back. Yeah. We also used to sell Kool-Aid with my cousins because they lived on a busy street. We would sell Kool-Aid. I remember that.
Wow. I never wanted to do anything that involved really dealing with people in a way that I wasn't in control of. And so that's why for me, whenever I need to make a little bit extra money, drag is such a wonderful thing to have in my back pocket, because I can quite literally, like if I went right now, I guarantee you, if I put on the look, went out and did a little bit of a gimmicky thing and sang fucking Defying Gravity, I'd leave that bar with $300.
Yeah,
Like,
you would.
I would get guaranteed I'd leave that bar with $300, and I'd have a little bit extra cash for whatever. So like, I'm very grateful to have that ability. Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to be able to do, and fun, and so fun. Yeah.
Fun.
And for Sophia, I feel like it is a smart idea because like the overhead costs are low. Like maybe your water bill is going to go up a little bit. Maybe you have to buy some glass bottles or something, but you buy them in bulk. We already know that Sophia knows how to do that.
Be rustic.
Yeah, be rustic. Exactly. So yeah, of course they get into all their like money making schemes of the past, which is where we get into the Miami Moms catering.
I have something new to say. I think maybe you brought this up in the original watch of this. I don't remember because it was 10 years ago when we were 17. But you have a clip. I know you have a clip, but then I want to comment on the thing that I noticed during this scene that actually now, as an older person who cooks regularly, made me very uncomfortable.
Well, I think we know what it is because I think, did we watch this during a live watch along? Because you and I have talked about this more recently, but I think you and I are going to say the same thing. So I do want to talk a little bit about the business of Miami Moms Catering because first, These women are cooking for 300 people.
Yeah. I remember us mentioning this before, that the industrial oven situation, like they need a bigger kitchen space.
Well, yeah, like where are they gonna store all of that cooked chicken once it's done? Also, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. The wedding is that day, and they've just begun to cook.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's worse than me and my
Wait.
7 fish feast.
When would you want to start cooking for a wedding? Like hot food?
Well, I mean, I guess
Like
how
to me,
how many chickens are they cooking for those 300 people? How are they keeping them warm? Either way, they're going to be tired the next day. And because Blanche also calls this a wedding consulting business.
Yeah.
So Miami Moms Catering is a wedding consulting business. So are they doing everything? Are they planning and executing?
I think they're kind of like the Queer Eye for the weddings, if you will, whereas like each person has a role. You know what I mean? Like one person does the decorating, one person does the food, one person does the thing, but then they all help out in the areas that they can. But like I think it is kind of like a communal, like group activity situation. The thing that bothered me wasn't the practicality of the timing or anything like that. Blanche is the only one wearing gloves, and they're dealing with raw chicken.
No, no.
Like,
so
Dorothy is quite literally, she's grabbing at least the others are only touching chicken products that make sense, but Dorothy is quite literally taking the gloved hand of Blanche, who's holding a chicken properly, even though I wouldn't use cleaning gloves, I'd use other gloves, but whatever. She's taking the gloved hand of Blanche, and then she's just taking the chicken in her bare hands, opening the oven, placing it in the oven, closing the oven, never washing her hands, and then going
continuing
back
to stir the pot.
Stir the pot, which is just salmonella, just nonstop.
So I literally have a note in all caps that says we have to talk about the chickens. As someone who I wash my hands for a solid 5 minutes after just cracking an egg for breakfast, every time I watch this episode, I have a visceral reaction to that lack of hygiene and safety happening in this kitchen with all of the raw food.
Yeah,
like
I know it does. No, but the other question that I have for you is: do you have an air fryer?
I do have an air fryer.
My God, do you cook chicken in an air fryer?
I have cooked chicken in an air fryer. Yes.
Delicious.
It's so good. I love my air fryer. It cuts down on making little dino nuggies for little Oreo.
Yes. I'm thinking of buying a new one because I love it. I have the kind of air fryer that's like a tray bucket that you just like pull out and you put back in.
Yeah, that's what we have. Yeah.
I need a toaster oven air fryer combo at this point.
Interesting.
I need a more practical, like, because I find that I use it. The three things I use most in my kitchen are the air fryer,
the vacuum.
No, that's not part of the kitchen. The air fryer, the kettle, and the toaster. Yeah. Those three things. Now, they haven't created an air fryer toaster oven combo with a kettle attached to it yet. But when they do, I will buy it.
Give it time. Well, Stan's parents just bought a second air fryer. They have two. Yeah.
I say this, I've said it many times. I fucking love his parents.
Yeah, they're smart. They know where it's at.
Yeah.
I love an air fryer. To just go back to the lack of hygiene for a second, I don't know if you also noticed at the start of the scene, Rose is icing a cake like a foot away from Blanche, who's rolling raw meatballs.
Yeah.
They would be shut down by the health inspector fast.
They would be. And I don't normally care about those things, but as someone who cooks regularly, that very much concerned me.
I'm sure a lot of people watch the episode and let us know in the comments, but I'm sure people watch that episode and they're like, I can't with the, okay, let's play the clip. Let's all try to remind ourselves that these are not real chickens, or I don't know, maybe they are, but they're probably not. But I love Rose singing in this moment.
Same.
You know, this is boring. I know how we could make the time go faster. We could sing a work song like they do on the railroad. Just follow my lead. Gonna stuff a chicken.
Gonna stuff the chicken.
Like my mama taught me.
Like my mama taught me.
Gonna take the chicken down to Mississippi. Rose, just stuff it.
I love it.
It's
love
so
it.
good. It's so good. And then the doorbell rings and they all just wipe their hands on dish towels because that'll kill all the salmonella.
Yeah. Okay. The whole thing, because we don't need to get too into the weeds with the marriage situation, because I feel like I remember us doing that on the original watch. I do want to talk a little bit about the phone call that Dorothy makes and the legality of it. Like, I think Dorothy's breaking the law here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure. Can I just say a few things about
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Priscilla, played by Star Andreef,
Oh, what a
who's
name.
so good, such a name. I love her. I love her jagged bangs. Yes, everybody. I looked for her on social media so we could try to get her on the podcast, and I couldn't find her. So if anybody
She's
can
very
find her,
Shelley
please let me
Duvall.
know.
She's very Shelley Duvall
I
in the
couldn't.
way
She
that she
used.
speaks, you know?
Oh my God, Ramon and I aren't getting married anymore. Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay, we're back together. That was good. I feel like so Star Andreef, the thing I love about her, she like did a bunch of cool campy B horror movies like Ghoulies
Ooh.
2.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah,
She's
that's
out
gotta be
there.
fun.
She's
She's out
out
there.
there.
She's doing stuff. She ran her own talent management company for a while.
Oh, sign
And
me.
yeah, I tried to message her through it, but the email got kicked back to me. I don't know if the company's together anymore. But guys, I really did try to get a hold of her to see if we get her on the podcast. I also feel like Priscilla and Yvonne, woo, this is it.
Yeah.
They would have been best friends, the two
Oh
of
my
them. They
God,
have
they would
such
have
similar
been.
energy.
They so would have been. You're right. Wow, I love that.
Okay, but now let's talk about the legality.
Yeah.
please.
So Dorothy, I mean, because and maybe this is just because I recently watched Juror Number 2, Clint Eastwood's new movie starring Nicholas Holt and Toni Collette. Have you seen
Oh,
it?
love them
It's
both.
good.
No,
Oh,
but
no,
I
it's
love Toni
fantastic.
Collette.
Well, it's a story about, and so I'm just in sort of like what's legal, what's not. But that one is about a man who gets picked to be on a jury, and it's a murder trial of a man who's accused of murdering his girlfriend or fiance, and she was like found in a creek or whatever. And it turns out one of the members of the jury is the one who he thought he hit a deer that night on the road, but it actually was, he finds out her, and he's the one who murdered her, and he's on the jury for the guy who's being pinned with the murder. So yeah, it's a fun show. It's a fun, like, whatever, like, what does he do, whatever. And it got me thinking, like, with Dorothy, because I watched this episode and then that very close to it, like, she's clearly reporting a false crime. Like, she's setting, I don't know if it's not blackmail, but she's the one who is essentially entrapping this young woman for a robbery charge falsely. So I don't know. Florida's wild, wild west to me. I don't know the laws there. All I know is that next day you can get police camera footage there, and that's why Cops is always shot there. But like, I feel like that's illegal.
Well, I can tell you that at the end of the day, Dorothy didn't even have to call the police because the salmonella on her hands that she transferred onto the vase would have killed both Priscilla and her beau. So Priscilla and Ramon are dead by sunrise.
They're both. She's not only are they killing the bride and the groom, but they're killing everyone at the wedding.
They're killing each other.
Wait,
they're killing themselves.
That just happened here in Los Angeles. There was some holiday party where they ate oysters or whatever, and everyone got sick. So, like, maybe that's what happened at the wedding. Wow.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow. But, you know, I do think she's breaking the law with that phone call. I think that is, and if anything, it is ethically incredibly wrong.
Yeah. What is that? Like swatting? When people call the police it's like pedestrian swatting.
That happened
What's happening?
I mean, not the swatting didn't happen to me, but a security threat happened to me. I won't go into too many details, but it had to do with people assuming things about me with Latter-day Jew, and then them publishing my address someplace in a chat forum, and then me getting lots of crazy, scary things because they all thought that I was something that I'm not, even though they were just like, he's Jewish. He's a public figure. Anyway,
that's incredibly scary.
It was a scary little time period for me. So people stop doing those things.
Yeah. Really take that anger and Yeah, find a way to work through it.
Yes.
There was a super topical joke in this scene. So when we get back to the kitchen, when Sophia finds out that MASH is off the air and Hotel is still on the air, she goes, how gullible do you think I am? Do I look like Donna Rice? I was like, okay, I need to just take a second to figure all of this out. So Hotel, everybody knows
Hotel?
MASH.
Do you know about Hotel?
No, well, all I know is that it was an Aaron Spelling produced soap opera that was on ABC starring Ann Baxter and Mr. Barbara Streisand.
Well, no,
James
that's
Brolin.
all you need to know. That James Brolin and that beard. James Brolin is also in the Mark Harmon school of Forever Hot. The Dick Van Dyke, James Brolin, Mark Harmon. Doesn't matter how old they get. I'm ready to sit on it hot. I said it. I said it. I said it.
Sure did.
That's the level of hotness they will forever possess. This episode is rated explicit.
Well, what's funny is that, so I looked to see how long, I mean, obviously the writers were making fun of Hotel, but it lasted 5 seasons, which I'm sorry, but that was longer than another spin-off sitcom about a hotel, Golden Palace.
Oh, you just threw shade at the girls.
No.
Wow.
No. Okay. But Hotel was actually canceled less than a year after this episode aired. So, and then do you want to take the Donna Rice joke? Because I know you know this.
What? What about it?
Do you know? I didn't even know who Donna Rice was. I don't. How would I know who Donna Rice is?
Well, I mean, from back in the day with the presidential scandal, right? Like, that was the joke. Yes.
I wasn't even born yet.
Well, I mean, no. So it was. But now I'm blanking on the guy's name.
Gary Hart. They loved to make fun of Gary Hart on the show.
Well, everyone loved to make fun of Gary Hart. So Gary Hart was a big politician person running for president, and then the whole Donna Rice situation was sort of the start of. There's a great documentary about Clinton that kind of talks about this, but because back in the day with presidents, we didn't talk about their affairs like with JFK, or we didn't talk about any of the scandalous stuff. Really, a lot of that journalists intentionally kind of pushed back on that. But in the 80s, with both Gary Hart and then a little bit as it got into Clinton, of course, it exploded. We started talking about these politicians in terms of them essentially being tabloid fodder in a lot of ways, and that was sort of the start of that.
Yeah So Donna Rice was photographed sitting on his lap,
just on his lap, and that's what did it.
Like
that's what did it.
New Year's Eve party. And anyway, and then she just was
another New Year's connection. This was a great New Year's episode.
Hey, look at that.
There you go, everyone.
So that's that kind of vignette. Then we get into Brooklyn.
Before we get into Brooklyn, yes, I do.
Let's take a break, Skeeves.
We need to take a break because Kerri just shaded the girls for the Golden Palace, and we need to have a conversation. So we'll be right back.
Let's talk offline.
We'll be right back. So are you ready to apologize, Kerri?
I'm so sorry that I shaded the girls. Okay. I love seeing Sophia and Sal's relationship in these flashbacks. Like,
Lenny Green.
Oh, and Lynn Green.
Sorry.
We'll talk forever about Lynn Green.
Yeah.
What I love is that throughout this whole vignette, this whole scene, they're just getting on each other's nerves. Like, you want lumps? I'll give you lumps, Salvador. And then at the very, very end, when he's like, I want some fresh air. We got fresh air in here. I want beer with my fresh air. And then he leaves on the other side of the door. It's like, I love you. I love you too. It's like, oh, they love each other so much, but they just give it to each other, like you and me.
Yeah, kind of.
Anyway, but yes, let's talk about.
Do you know
Lynn
when
Green.
the TV dinner started? I watched a whole thing on TV dinners, like a documentary on TV dinners.
Go on.
I forget the name of the documentary right now, but this was a while ago. But it was like 1953. I remember that because that was the year my mother was born, which is crazy because I'm so young. So how did she have me that late in life? But
hey, women are doing it.
They are. Modern
you may
science.
age as long as you have
Modern
a good
science.
uterus.
But it was the Swanson company, the Swanson and Sons, I think it is, company or whatever, they created like this TV dinner type thing. There were versions of kind of other things back in the day, but of course it wasn't. And it was marketed because of the popularity of TV at the time. Really with I Love Lucy and whatnot. And do you like a TV dinner?
I haven't had a TV dinner with like the separated compartments in a long time where you'd get like, here's your beef compartment and here's the little mac and cheese and here's the peas. I haven't had one of those in a long time, but I do enjoy a good Amy's bowl. I try not to microwave them because of the plastics. So I usually try to pop it in the oven, but then you got to wait like 40 minutes, though I have never tried putting it in the air fryer. But I do like an Amy's bowl, which will be like, a kale mac and cheese situation or like one of those because they're very convenient and they're tasty.
See, I love a lean cuisine. I do. I do enjoy a lean cuisine. Not that it makes me feel lean at all, but I do love a lean cuisine. I also love, there are these Indian frozen dinners that I love Indian food. I love Indian food. My God, I love Indian food. And they have these Indian frozen dinners that are just like, like the chicken on one side or whatever, and then the rice on the other. And then my favorite thing to do is to then take a big bowl and then just dump it all into a bowl and just like smash it around. And then I add more of my own stuff to it. And oh, it's not quite the TV dinner. Because like for me, the TV dinner experience has to be the tinfoil on top. You cook it, you poke it with holes in certain areas, you rub it off. It has that weird cafeteria mashed potatoes and that brownie that you can't quite
brownie.
You can't quite take out of the thing. You have to use a fork. But then as a kid, I had to be like, no, I don't want my food fork, my normal dinner fork, touching the brownie. So I had two forks. I always had two forks. I had one for the food, like the turkey and the mashed potatoes and all of that and the vegetables. And then the brownie, I'd have a separate fork so I could.
I like that you found a system that worked for you.
Yeah. I always listen. It's like Jurassic Park. Life finds a way.
It finds a way.
Yeah.
The thing I love about Lynn Green, and we have to have her back on the podcast. If you guys haven't listened, season 3, go back to our podcast. We had a great chat with her, though I think my microphone didn't work, so nobody could hear me. So if you don't like the sound of my voice, you'll love it. The thing I love about Lynn Green is that she wasn't doing an impression of B. Arthur. She was embodying Dorothy Zbornak.
She really was. I mean, her hand, the way she held.
That's what I was going to say. Yes, the way
it's just so Meryl Streep-esque.
The way, like, the way the way she held herself. She's like standing slightly back with one hand on her hip, the other fiddling with her necklace. I was like, she is standing like B. Arthur. Like, it felt like a Freaky Friday thing.
This whole scene, Estelle Getty in with her natural hair, or what I think was her natural hair, and just the back and forth of like their relationship. It's just, I could have had, honestly, this could have been my young Sheldon. This scene in Golden Girls is our young Dorothy. It is what we need. I could have had a whole spinoff series of just this.
I know. Honestly, if the women weren't game to do, if Estelle Getty was the only one that wanted to do a spinoff of the Golden Girls, then it wouldn't have been the Golden Palace. They probably, I mean, I don't know if anybody had ever done a prequel show before, but yeah, it would have been like this, the Petrillos or something.
Yeah.
And
God, that'd be so
I would have
good.
loved that show.
Oh, that would have been so fun.
I would have loved it. I love that in these flashbacks, like so much, Sal performs to a wall. He performs from the other room so much, and I just shouting through the wall, and I just thought that was like a really fun choice.
Yeah.
Another fun fact about this moment, this vignette is when, they're talking about, buying TVs for each other. And Sophia mentions that Dorothy can come over to watch a new show called Make Room for Daddy.
Yeah.
So Sid Melton, who plays Sal, he was actually on Make Room for Daddy seasons 6 through 10, playing a character named Charlie Helper. So it was like a little wink to his character.
I love that.
That said, can you imagine in this here year of 2025 having a network television show called Make Room for Daddy?
I mean, it would only exist on Showtime, and it would be there'd be a lot of full frontal, and and it would probably star a straight man playing gay. Let's just be real, and and every gay person would watch it and be like, pubes.
Hey,
Yeah,
scooch over, make room for Daddy.
I'll be your mommy.
Do you remember that board game, Don't Wake Daddy?
No, I don't. What was that? That's so scary.
It was marketed towards children.
What was it?
It was a board game. It was a game where you would, it's like that whole thing of like, okay,
like operation where you don't make a noise. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's your turn to go. Oh, we got to turn the thing, but you don't want to be the one to wake Daddy. And so if you landed on like the wake Daddy thing, I think you would like sit up in bed. It was like a little doll. Let me see. Should I go down this rabbit hole? Should I find a commercial for Don't Wake Daddy and show it on my phone?
Oh my God, that's so scary. I don't know, but also
Don't wake Daddy.
So yesterday, a good friend.
Here, I'll just show you. This is chilling. This is what the dad looks like that would sit up in bed. This is terrifying.
Well,
let
me just describe it for listeners. So Daddy looks scared. He looks like that what you would appear someone who has a heart attack and then suddenly dies and they're frozen like in that state of shock. That's what he looks like. And it's so funny. Last night actually, I went to here in Los Angeles, there was a twink competition hosted by my good friend Meatball, drag queen, who we'll have on the podcast. We talked about it last night. And it was a bunch of young, well, not even just young, but just like skinny dudes competing to be twink of the year or whatever. And that Don't Wake Daddy makes me think that there needs to be, I'm assuming there probably is a daddy competition somewhere, but some gay bar needs to do a daddy competition. Meatball, make that happen. Oh, and Meatball also is on Mom with Sloppy Seconds Pod, or Sloppy Podcast. So you guys can go listen to Sloppy on Mom Podcast.
Keeping it in the mom family.
Yeah.
So back in the kitchen, the women, they've just finished their bucket of chicken. I hope you like it flat and crispy. And there's a small moment with Sophia that I love and I wanted to play because I thought Estelle Getty was just so funny in this moment.
There's still one piece left. Who wants it?
I do.
I do. Oh, well, I can split it 3 ways.
What am I supposed to do, lick the box?
Ma, you don't like store-bought pizza. You prefer homemade.
I also prefer milk straight from a cow. I adapt. This is awful.
Okay, can I say
She got
something?
such huge laughs.
Huge, because it was so funny. It was so funny.
I also like to drink milk straight from the cow. I adapt. You shouldn't do that.
You should not do that. Although it does make me
drink
think
raw milk.
It does make me think of that episode of Sex and the City where Samantha has to go down and like squeeze the udders of the cow while they're in upstate New York, and it's just such a funny, iconic scene of that show. But this does bring up a pet peeve of mine that when you like the wasting of food, I'm not one to waste food. I'm not a food waster. I don't throw food. I will throw something away.
It stresses me out to throw food away.
It does. Yeah. Or if I buy something like a meal and then I'm like, I just don't know. I just have a problem with that. So like her just throwing it in the sink, I was a little bit like, no.
Well, especially when the other women wanted it.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, this makes me feel better. You saying that you also feel anxious about throwing out food. In addition to trying to make the 7 fish feast, I wanted to replicate my grandmother's, some of her recipes that we used to make like growing up for desserts. So I made homemade whoopie pies, her chocolate oatmeal fudgies, and I also made her Italian cookies.
Oh, nice.
And
that's lovely.
but it ended up being so much food.
Yeah.
And we had so much left over. And I just have been binge eating them. I finally had to throw them away because I was like, I don't think they're good anymore. I think at this point they're probably bad.
Yeah. Have
But
you
I can
tried?
just show you. There's my
Please.
tray. Like this is how, and I think this
So you
was
guys
like
can
half
watch
the
this
batch.
on Patreon or YouTube. But yeah, wow.
Yeah, I made oatmeal fudgies, and again, this is like 1/3 of the batch.
That's
And
great.
I made whoopie pies. Look at this. This is how much dessert I made.
I want to ask you about a whoopie pie here. So
Yeah.
have you tried the viral hack? This is totally not Golden Girls, but this is something. If Rose existed in 2025, not only would she have a TikTok, but she would see this viral hack and she would be like, we need to try it. You take an Oreo, you put a little bit of water in the bottom of your air fryer, and then you take your one Oreo and you put it in the air fryer or even the microwave, I think too. You can also do it in the microwave, and you do it for like a minute or two or whatever, and it turns into a whoopie pie.
Oh, you hydrate it.
Yeah. So it becomes a whoopie pie.
I like your emphasis on the word pie. That seems like a very Buddy White thing.
There
Rum
you
raisin
go.
ice cream. A whoopie pie.
Whoopie
A whoopie
pie.
pie. A whoopie
Yeah.
pie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try that and let me know how it works.
I have an Oreo, and I think I might try it tonight.
I have an Oreo, but I'm not going to put her in the air fryer. She's my baby. Okay. So after the pizza moment, the conversation goes to Sophia feeling like she's always left out of things like the dance competition.
Yes.
And Dorothy says Sophia couldn't participate because there was money at stake.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it was a game show where they were like partnered up. Like each woman was competing for herself as an individual dancer. I think if anything, having Sophia there would have just upped the chances that somebody in the household would have walked away with the money.
I don't know. I kind of am with Dorothy in this one, in that it would be like if we had to play a game of some sport for money and we all were talking about who should participate. I would step up and be like, y'all, don't put me in. Don't put me in. This isn't my thing. I'm going to lose you money. And it's going to, and in a situation like this, I think you have to pay money to participate in the dance-a-thon. And it just feels like a waste. Like it would be like me paying money to participate in a sport that I'm only going to be bad at, and I'm going to make other people lose. No, it's a waste of money, even though it all goes to charity. So whatever, but like still.
Well, so here's my question, because they also say that it's a marathon for charity, but there's $1,000 cash prize.
Well, I get that, because there are those bougie fundraisers, and I've gone to many of them. I've participated in others where they do give ridiculously overpriced prizes for a charity that's just sort of like, well, the value of this should just go to the charity. Like, give this.
Yeah, and maybe those are like donated things that people donated.
No, there's
freely,
actually
but this
there's
is
money.
a cash
You can win money
prize.
too. No, you can
Money?
win money. Yes, I've been at places where you can also win like gambling stuff and real money. I mean, some rich people do crazy things.
I don't know that I would feel good about walking away with $1,000 that I wouldn't then turn around and give to the Jefferson Hospital Heart Charity Dance Marathon Committee.
Maestro.
I also, again, I loved the guy, the MC of the night.
Yeah.
He was so great. His speaking voice was so lovely to listen to. But he had to say that these writers, they choose the longest fucking names for some of these things. The 13th annual Jefferson Hospital Heart Charity Dance Marathon. That's right up there with like the Friends of the Good Friends who help people with Friends, Good Friends Award. Like, let's trim these words down for these actors to say. How long do you think you would last in a dance-a-thon like this?
Oh, see, now, I was at that twink pageant yesterday, like I said, and I had to stand with my bag for like 4 hours. And listen, I'm a bottom heavy girl, so I got a lot holding me up. Like I could go. Like I got stamina. But there were moments while standing watching these twinks be twinklicious that I said to myself, Mama could use a chair. Like I could use and there was a moment where, because Naomi Smalls was judging, and I was with her, and we during breaks we'd go back to the green room, and she'd be like, do you want to go to the green room? And I was like, I want to sit down.
Yeah. So how long do you think?
2 hours.
Yeah, I think I could last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the endometriosis, so I'm like, after a while, I'd need a heating pad. I don't.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
also
it
would
flares
fuck it
up
up.
at night.
I'd fuck it up. I'd stop for something and then I'd accidentally get disqualified because of something I did. Like, I'm one of those people.
Well, here's the thing is that it seems like you're allowed to stop or if your partner leaves you, you have 1 minute to find a new partner, I think. I don't know how it actually works because if you
I could
notice
find a
when
new
Rose
partner.
when Rose was dancing, everyone was sitting. Everyone was just sitting around watching Rose dance. None of them were disqualified.
That's true.
So I don't know. I don't know what the rules of this dance marathon are.
Yeah.
I just, it's so wild to me. I don't know. They must have had to sign a waiver. Like if you die during this dance marathon for a hospital,
Things are happening there.
things
there's
are
some
happening.
legality.
People are having Charlie horses. Like,
But
I love
regardless, this moment gave us the iconic Dorothy line, which we have the clip of, which is like makes everything about this episode worth it and more.
Yeah, we can play it. Would you like to play that moment?
I would actually. I very much would.
You're just exhausted and you're trying to blame it on me.
Exhausted? I'll show you who's exhausted. Maestro, how about something with a little octane?
Okay, little lady. All right, boys, take it away. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Maestro.
I'm going to start asking for a little octane in everything. I'm going to be at Starbucks. I'm going to be like, yes, may I have a tall coconut milk latte with a little octane?
I'm going to do it whenever I go to the pharmacy to get my Ozempic. I'm going to be like, can I have it with a little octane?
Yeah. I'd like a double In-N-Out burger. Give it to me with a little octane.
See, I can never do a double-double. I can never do a double-double.
I can't do a double-double.
Too much. I can do it animal style, but I can't do a double-double. This episode is so food heavy for us.
I know,
Wow.
very food heavy. I also
Wow.
feel like I need to point out, obviously, Rose's dance number, super famous, super wonderful. Yes, I chose to play the Dorothy one because I just love Maestro.
We also
and then the way that
we can't play the other ones because of music. We just can't.
Oh, because of the music? Because that
Yeah.
one had music.
That we can play the very little bit, the beginning of it, but you have to fade
but
out.
we can't play it. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. They will pull it. They'll pull it. They'll pull it.
Yep. Yeah.
But it is worth noting that Rose's dress, I'm sure as every hardcore Gigi fan knows, is also worn by Gloria in the case of the Libertine Belle.
Yes.
We've seen the side by sides.
Yes.
So
yes.
kudos to the first person who discovered that. So Rose's dance number, obviously this is like such a talked about thing on this podcast.
Yeah.
And just in the Gigi community. But Rose having this beautiful dance ability, I always love on this show when Rose surprises us.
Me too.
Moments when she's super book smart or knows all about toilets and plumbing.
Hypersexual bitch.
Yeah, like those
Yeah.
moments, like she was the character on the show who was always full of surprises, like
Yeah.
a beautiful pinata or a
Which
Jack in the Box. Like
It's
I
so
loved-
much fun
I love
as
that.
like a writer creative. Like you just for a character like that, there's so many places you can go with someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about it. This
So
time around, I was
fun.
like, oh, I love Rose was a character that she could surprise us in the best
So
ways
great.
at times.
So great.
So they enter hour 13. Again, I cannot imagine. Like, oh my God. I was also surprised that Blanche was the one whose shoes were off instead of Dorothy's.
Well, hers were more easy. Yeah, true. That's very true. That's
But I
actually
was like,
very true.
B. Arthur would have been like, if she's taking them off, I'm taking mine off too.
Can
But
I
she
take
didn't.
my bra off?
Ugh.
That's what I would do.
The moment when these vignettes, they're so well written and they're so funny. The moment when Rose and Dorothy come out dancing together and just
Yeah.
the serious looks on their faces, so determined.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so good. It's
just so good.
funny.
It's just it's implanted in every single Golden Girls brain, that moment.
Dun, 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 Dun,
It's just
da, da,
it's
da,
up there
da,
with
da,
Rose
da,
and Blanche
da,
Dirty
da.
Dancing. I mean, it is
Yes.
it is in your, or them in the little tuxedo outfits or the cat outfits. It is just
Mm-hmm.
in your head. Those dance moments. We need to do a
Yeah.
dance episode where it's just all dance moments.
I love that. The Golden Girls danciest dance moments. Yes. All right. I'm going to write that one down. That's a great compilation. I also love, and I feel like this was something that Blanche Devereaux set out to prove. So in the end, we learned that Blanche actually won the dance competition because either standing up or lying down, Blanche Devereaux truly has the most stamina out of the three women.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
That's the episode.
Makes sense.
It's so good.
It's
I
so
love this
good.
episode so much.
It's
I
so
love
fun.
it.
And it's
I
such a
love it.
perfect New Year's episode. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, I love. Well, let's take a break and come back with our golden takeaways, the first of 2025.
Ooh.
Ooh. And we are back with our first golden takeaways of 2025. A golden takeaway is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. It may cause excessive diarrhea. Kerri, what is your golden takeaway?
I was wondering why you were explaining what they are. I was like, do we have a guest? Is Ellen back? Hello, Ellen. That was supposed to be my impression of Ellen's friend Audrey.
Oh,
You remember?
Yeah.
Hi, Ellen. And then when Ellen came out, she goes, what should we call you? Gay or lesbian? And Ellen's like, how about Ellen? And she goes, okay, Ellen. And I remember the most random things. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
My
You
golden
do.
I really do. My golden takeaway is if you're going to have a side hustle, do it the way that Sophia does it, which is start small. Look at all the advice that the sharks give you on Shark Tank. Don't be like Stan Spornak with the Santa fire trucks where you just blow your money on a bunch of things, just assuming that you're like, oh, the market's going to like it. Start small. Work your way up.
Yep.
Supply and demand. People should be demanding more as you start to build your supply. So that's it. Just for my side hustle is keep your overhead as low as possible. Put the least amount of investment in. Put that money right back into the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Free advice.
My golden takeaway is similar in that it's about one of their hustles. The chicken. It's specifically about the chicken. And it's what I think, and this is something you can easily do. You could actually probably sell these. It wouldn't be the best business idea, but regardless, don't ever make the chicken. Just go to Costco and get that delicious $5 roast chicken. It is a $5 roast chicken that lasts you 5 days, and it gives you so much in so many various ways. And then just when you think it's not giving you, you're done with it, that you just have this carcass of chicken and you're like, well, but there's just so much of the fats on it still and all of these things. What can I do? You can make a stock, baby. You can make a delicious little stock with those bones. And that stock then can
Chicken
last
soup?
you for another week with chicken soup, or you can use it in a gravy, or you can use it in other dishes. I mean, there's just so many uses for a
Chicken
$5
tetrazzini.
Costco chicken. Go to Costco.
That's a great piece of advice and a really great ad for Costco. We're not sponsored by Costco.
Wouldn't it be
unless
great if
we are.
Costco was like the Audible of podcast sponsors, and everyone was just like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna take a break from the video just to tell you about Costco." Like, I would love
I would love that.
I would love it. I would love
Yeah.
that. And Costco, I'm available because I love you.
I know. Oh, that would be so much fun. So different than like make your website with Squarespace.
Yeah, I mean,
I
how much
don't
do I
know.
have
I
to
don't
say
know
about
what ads are
Squarespace?
playing.
Not much. Not much. I get my domain through Squarespace. But I've said everything I can. How much do I have to say about Costco? How many days do you have?
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get me started on pies.
Oh,
We'll save
their
that for the
pies
Rusty
are
Anchor.
so big.
I'm not even talking about Costco pies. I'm talking about just pies in general. But we can talk about that on the Rusty Anchor happy hour. I think I'm going to start a pie business. We'll talk about it. But you got to start small. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
small.
Well, everyone, oh my gosh, what a great way to kick off 2025. We're so thankful for all of you. And just here's to a great year. We got some really fun stuff planned for everyone.
Yeah, we really, really do. And thanks for listening, obviously. And we're a part of Mom, Moguls of Media. You can follow them and do all the things with Mom Plus, and you can follow us on social media at Golden Girls Pod on the Twits, Out in the Lanai Officials on the Instagrables, Golden Girls Pod on Facebooks, and I'm HAlanScott / Sadie Pines on everything.
I wonder how many people are still listening at this point. I feel like at the end of every episode, like literally the last thing
should
we
we
say
do a
needs to be
secret
something
word?
shocking.
Should we do a secret word to see if anyone's like, if you're listening, if you're still listening right now, we'll do a post for this episode. Remember to do this.
I will.
That way people go to the post for this episode and comment magenta.
Magenta.
And people will be like, what are you talking about magenta?
This isn't the magenta episode. We'll know. We'll know. And I am Squid Eat Squid on Twitter and Squidsy on Instagram. And if you guys want to do us another super solid, you could leave us a rating and review wherever you get this podcast. And remember, you can check out the GGVIP Club over at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. It is free to get an account, but you do get most of the fun content at the $5 or $8 a month level.
And if you think Mark Harmon is hot, like I do, put that in the comments too.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. And remember,
as always,
stay golden. Dick Van Dyke.
What's the NCIS theme song? How does that go? Yeah, probably.
Murder.
Out in the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.